What is happening, everybody? Trey here, and today at Reactions to the Classics, we are continuing our series through our top 5 album draft per year. We're up to 1976 right now. Been a very fun journey, and man, we're gonna keep it going.
Yeah, and I'm Sean, his dad. I'm joining him on this journey. If you haven't joined us before, we pick the draft snake style. You get first pick this one, Trey?
I do.
I get second, third. He gets fourth and fifth. So this is not some sort of authoritative thing. It's just what we believe. So we do this every Friday. It premieres at 11 a.m. every Friday Central Time on YouTube. But at the end of it, keep track here, because at the end of it, we want you to pick who you think won.
And I guess all that to say, man, let's get it kicked off. A gentleman that has appeared on many of my lists before is going to be my first pick. Quite easy on this. One album of the year. Everybody from Prince to Elton John to George Michael has said this is the greatest album of all time. It is Stevie Wonder Songs in the Key of Life. And man, just a very legendary double record here.
Yes,
man.
Yeah.
Just
hour 43 minutes.
Yeah, just really packs a punch in so many different types of styles. The rhythm and funk and soul is there, with some of more pop melodies in here by Stevie as well. Of course, you got Sir Duke, one of my favorites, Village, Ghetto Land, Isn't She Lovely, I Wish, and really, man, that's just the tip of the iceberg there. Long live Stevie Wonder, man. What a great classic period, and pretty easy pick number one for me right here.
Yeah, it would have been my number one, but you got it. So Trey, I'm going to pick something that really should go under you, because you like this album a lot more than me. But I don't think this is a super strong year. I think there's a lot of good albums. I don't think there's any great albums except for the one you just chose. But I'll go station to station, Bowie.
See, I'm going to disagree with you there. This is a great album, Sean.
Well, I know you think that. I think it's a really good album. I don't think it's one of his best, actually. His 10th album went to 3 in the U.S., remaining on the chart for 32 weeks, and his highest charting album in the U.S. all the way until 2013's The Next Day. The story behind this, though, Trey, is a great story, so it maybe elevates this. By this time, David is substantiating himself on cocaine, milk, and jalapenos.
Hallmarks of any great diet right
there.
there.
He believes that Aleister Crowley is going to come and kill him because he's falling out with Jimmy Page. This thing's crazy. We did a review of this. You got to go watch the start of this review, even if you don't want to watch all of it, just to hear the stories behind it. But only 6 tracks. Title track's 10 minutes. It's epic. You got Wild as the Wind. So definitely a really good choice for my number one. You got anything to add on this?
I don't, man. I just think the title track is fantastic. You're starting to see that shift.
Oh, yeah, definite shift.
Into kind of, the Berlin trilogy.
Yeah, we're going to the Berlin trilogy.
And I just think that it's all killer, no filler, man.
Which most people love that shift. I myself wished he would have stayed where he was. Number 2 pick for me on mine, Desire, Dylan, 17th album. Very underrated album, right? Because of Blood on the Tracks coming right before. It's just really, really good. Hurricane is iconic. Sarah's great. Isis is great.
One more cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee. Dylan is really firing, man. What do you got as your second choice?
Well, man, I like both your picks right there. For my second choice, I'm gonna touch a group that is quite beloved in our friends north of the border, man. A little Neil Peart and Geddy Lee action with Rush. It's 2112. Their fourth record, built on that whole first site, is that title track, 2112. And man, being a guy who's not crazy into prog, this is one of my favorite prog rock albums of all time, man. I really think that title track is just takes you on a journey, stealing a phrase that you like to say. And that B-side, man, it's packed with a lot of tracks that are kind of more maybe accessible at 3.5 minutes. Passage to Bangkok is fantastic. Geddy really is able to let those vocals loose, and Twilight Zone is another one of my favorites on there. So giving Rush some love, and then also going with a record for my third pick that I was really high on back in the day when I first listened to it, then kind of got more lukewarm on, then revisited it, and I was like, you know what, this is a fun album, man. I'm going with the Ramones self-titled record.
I wanted this one, but you took it right before I could get it. I wanted this one.
The debut record that recorded in just 7 days, and that iconic cover photo was just a little over $100 they paid for that, and now it's one of the most obviously iconic covers of all time.
People wear it on their shirts. They don't even know who the Ramones are. I know who you people are.
And man, I just think he had that punk spirit mixed with, really when you crunch it down, what are the Ramones? That really a pop band that just plays a little bit louder and faster than kind of your traditional bands. Of course, we got one of their biggest hits in the Blitzkrieg Bup, Beat on the Brat, 53rd and 3rd, Havana Affair. Just a very fun record, easy to listen to, flies by quick, man, and it hits that punk kid at heart for me.
Yeah, it does. My third pick. You have a review of this up you actually did with your friend Ben way back in the day at the start of the channel. Self-titled Boston debut. Tom Schultz, MIT grad, created basically most of this in his basement. They didn't even tour. They didn't even do anything. Best-selling debut until Appetite for Destruction, 22 years later for Guns N' Roses, supplants it, which we'll keep our GNR thoughts to ourselves till 88. 8 songs. Obviously, More Than a Feeling is the iconic one. Also, Foreplay / Long Time is a great song. I have reactions to both of those songs, but a really, really strong debut. And then we're going to go to another strong debut, although it didn't sell well commercially and didn't have a hit song. But Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Yeah, man, really dig that one.
Took over a year to hit the U.S. charts. They actually released it here. They didn't do anything. They released it in the U.K. It actually did okay, and that brought it back a little bit more focus on the U.S., and it started kind of charts a little bit, breakdown. It was a minor chart hit, but I wouldn't call it a chart hit. And American Girl, Trey, was not a hit, although I think that is his iconic song, and that's saying something. But for me, that's his iconic songs and one of my favorite songs of all time. That's my number 4.
No, man, I do dig that Petty record for sure. It kind of gets
and we do have a review of that up as well.
Maybe buried by Wildflowers, Damn the Torpedoes,
it does.
Full Moon Fever. But man, from the jump, Petty and the Heartbreakers were great. And my 4th pick now, I'm gonna switch it up. Go a little Joni Mitchell, Ejira Action, her 8th record. Here, as a guy who loves great bass lines and bass work, you can't go wrong with Jaco Pastorius, who is all over this record, man. And you have a Coyote, which is probably the biggest song off here, the title track. Amelia is also really strong. And I mean, Joni during this period started to incorporate a little bit of that different type of sound, kind of going a bit more jazzy even at points. And man, I dig it. And my final pick here, there's a lot of albums that are in contention, and we'll kind of touch on it in the honorable mentions, but you know what, I'm going with a group that's very divisive. You either love them or you hate them.
Shout out to Rich.
Or maybe you're me, man. Maybe you just you kind of like them for what they are. I'm going Eagles, Hotel California, their 5th record. I mean, this has sold over 32 million.
It has.
Which is just astronomical. And yes, the title track has been played ad nauseum, and so is Life in the Fast Lane. My favorite here is actually The Last Resort, the closer that kind of touches on some different different takes on America and just consumerism and greed and whatnot. And man, I dig it, man. You've probably heard these songs a million times if you've been around by this point, but it doesn't mean it's not a pretty good record.
Right, I agree with that. I actually agree with that. My 5th pick, A Day at the Races by Queen, which might surprise some people. I think it's almost as good as A Night at the Opera. I mean, it's right there. It's their 5th studio album. You got Somebody to Love. You got Tie Your Mother Down. But the whole album is very, very consistent.
See, that's one I haven't listened to yet.
That's Queen in their heyday, right here in this little run. And I'm not a huge Queen fan, but got to give credit where credit's due. Trey, speaking of, we got some honorable mention. We got the great Tom Waits with Small Change. We got Night Moves by Seeger. What else you got?
Yeah, we got Joan Armatrading's self-titled record, Fly Like an Eagle by the Steve Miller Band. Love that title track right there. Legalize It by Peter Tosh, a little reggae action. The Modern Lover, self-titled, and a little Jorge Ben, Africa, Brazil, to kind of take things worldwide here. But man, I think, Dad, when you look, I think it's maybe a bit of a top-heavy year, at least for me.
It is.
But there's still loaded on this thing. Obviously not as much as 75, which is just so loaded. But man, still some gems here for sure. And of course, as Sean noted at the start, let us know your favorite records from 1976 and who you think came out on top on this battle today.
Yeah, and we've done several reviews and reactions to some of these that will be down below. You can click the links down there in the description. And if you'd like to support us in any way, check out the Patreon link below or the Patreon link at the end screen. It's going to hit in a few minutes. But Trey, we're going to be back next week with 1977. I think it steps back up in 77. That's my little teaser.
No, for sure, man. Looking forward to it. And until next time, thanks for watching, y'all. Happy listening, and we will see ya.